In a small village surrounded by dry hills and quiet wind, there lived a boy named Sami. Sami was not strong like the other boys. He was not fast, and he was often afraid to try new things. When the other children climbed trees or raced across the fields, Sami stayed behind and watched. He wanted to be brave. He wanted to feel strong. But every time he tried, a small voice inside him would say, "You cannot do this." Above the village stood a tall mountain. It was not the tallest mountain in the world, but to Sami, it looked endless. Its top was often hidden by clouds, and no one in the village climbed it. People said it was too hard, too steep, and too dangerous. One evening, as Sami sat near the edge of the village, he looked at the mountain and whispered, "I wish I could climb you." An old man who lived nearby heard him. The man had kind eyes and a slow walk. He sat next to Sami and asked, "Why do you want to climb the mountain?" Sami looked down. "Because I am tired of being afraid." The old man smiled gently. "The mountain is not your real challenge," he said. "The real mountain is inside you." Sami did not understand. "Inside me?" "Yes," the old man said. "Fear, doubt, and worry, these are your mountains. If you climb them, the real mountain will be easy." Sami thought about this. The idea felt strange, but also important. "How do I climb the mountain inside me?" he asked. The old man stood up slowly. "You take one small step at a time. Just like climbing a real mountain." The next morning, Sami woke up early. The sun was just rising, and the air was cool. He looked at the mountain again. It still looked big and scary. But this time, he said to himself, "I will try." He packed a small bag with water, bread, and a blanket. His hands were shaking, but he did not stop. He walked out of the village and toward the mountain. Each step felt heavy. His heart beat fast. The small voice inside him returned. "Go back. This is too hard." Sami stopped walking. He almost turned around. Then he remembered the old man's words, "One small step at a time." So he took one more step. Then another. The path at the bottom of the mountain was easy. The ground was flat, and there were small plants on both sides. Sami felt a little better. "Maybe this is not so hard," he said. But after some time, the path became steeper. Rocks covered the ground, and Sami slipped more than once. His legs started to hurt. Soon, he reached a large rock wall. It was not very high, but it looked difficult to climb. Sami stood there and stared at it. "I cannot do this," he whispered. The voice inside him grew louder. "You are too weak. You will fall." Sami felt fear fill his chest. He stepped back. Then he closed his eyes. "One small step," he said softly. He reached for a small edge on the rock and pulled himself up. It was hard. His arms shook. But he did not stop. Slowly, he climbed the rock wall. When he reached the top, he sat down and breathed deeply. His heart was racing, but something felt different. He smiled. "I did it," he said. For the first time, the voice inside him was quiet. Sami continued his journey. The higher he climbed, the harder it became. The wind grew stronger, and the path became narrow. At one point, he reached a thin trail along the side of the mountain. One side had a steep wall, and the other side dropped far down. Sami froze. "I cannot walk there," he said. His legs felt weak. His hands were cold. Again, the voice returned. "You will fall. Turn back now. Sami looked down. The ground below was far away. He felt dizzy. I want to go home, he said. He sat down and held his head. For a long time, he did nothing. Then he remembered why he started. I am tired of being afraid, he said. He took a deep breath. I will try. He stood up slowly. He placed one foot on the narrow path. Then the other. Step by step, he moved forward. He did not look down. He only looked at the path ahead. The wind pushed against him, but he kept going. After what felt like a long time, he reached the end of the narrow trail. He sat down again, breathing heavily. I did it again, he said. This time, the voice inside him was smaller. As the sun began to set, Sami found a safe place to rest. He ate his bread and drank some water. The sky turned orange and then dark. Sami lay under the stars and thought about his journey. I climbed a rock wall, he said. I walked a narrow path. He smiled. Maybe I am stronger than I thought. For the first time in his life, Sami felt proud of himself. The next day, Sami woke up early again. The air was colder now, and the path was covered with small stones. He continued climbing. Soon, he reached a part of the mountain covered in loose rocks. Every step he took caused the rocks to move. He slipped and fell. Pain shot through his knee. Sami cried out. I cannot keep going, he said. He sat on the ground and looked at his knee. It was bleeding. This is too much, he said. I should go back. The voice inside him agreed. Yes, go back. You tried enough. Sami closed his eyes. For a moment, he believed the voice. But then he thought of the old man again. The real mountain is inside you. Sami took a deep breath. This pain is not bigger than me, he said. He tore a piece of cloth from his bag and wrapped it around his knee. Then, slowly, he stood up. I will continue, he said. Step by step, he moved forward. It was slow. It was painful. But he did not stop. Hours later, Sami reached near the top of the mountain. The air was thin, and the wind was strong. The clouds were close now. But there was one last challenge. A steep climb to the very top. Sami looked at it. It was the hardest part yet. I do not know if I can do this, he said. The voice inside him tried one last time. This is too much. You will fail. Sami stood there, tired and hurt. Then he smiled. No, he said. I will not listen to you anymore. He placed his hands on the rock and began to climb. It was slow. Very slow. He slipped once. Then again. But each time, he got up. Each time, he tried again. Finally, with one last push, Sami reached the top. He stood there, breathing hard. The world below him looked small. The village was far away. The hills looked like tiny waves. The sky was wide and beautiful. Sami felt something warm in his chest. It was not fear. It was strength. I did it, he said. Tears filled his eyes. Not from pain. But from joy. As he stood there, he realized something important. The mountain was not what made him strong. The climb did. Every step. Every fall. Every moment he chose to continue. That was his real victory. The mountain inside me, he said softly, is no longer so big. When Sami returned to the village, people were surprised. You climbed the mountain? They asked. Sami smiled. Yes, he said. Was it hard? They asked. Sami nodded. Yes. Very hard. Were you afraid? They asked. Sami thought for a moment. Yes, he said. But I did not stop. The old man saw him and smiled. You climbed both mountains, he said. Sami smiled back. I am still climbing, he replied. From that day on, Sami was different. He still felt fear sometimes. He still faced challenges. But now, he knew something important. Fear is not the end. It is just a part of the climb. And no matter how big the mountain looks, there is always a path forward. One small step at a time.